What up, though? So this is going to be a different video. I'm kind of hitting y'all kind of quick from the last video, but I think as long as I put things out when they're in my mind, I can kind of stay consistent with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one out. And this video is going to be dedicated to someone who's not expecting it, and I'll tag them in a video so they can know, kind of how I feel about them, and we can talk about it in a way where I may not necessarily say out loud and open. So fuck it. Excuse me. Let's get into it. Okay. So family. Family is a strange thing. There are people that you are inherently related to because your mother's sisters, your mother and their fathers, sisters, brothers, whatever, right? You share the same grandparents, right? You're kind of cousins distantly. And you don't get to choose them. They're just who they are. Another level of family are people that your parents are really close to when you're a child, and they become family because you grow up together. Um, and that's another kind of family. And then there are people that you find later in life, and they kind of become your family, the people that you are, quote unquote, brothers and sisters with out of some type of natural bond. And that's purely okay, right? I say all that to say family is what you make of it. So this person is someone that as a child, my mother became friends with his mother and we bonded over that. Right? We grew up together. We did a lot of stuff together and it is what it is, right? We're family. If you ask me, that's my cousin. You ask him, that's my cousin. And no one questions it, right? They just know it's family. So backstory, piece of backstory. If you know me, I grew up most of my life in Las Vegas, Nevada. My mother worked at the Flamingo Hilton, and through that job, she met some people who eventually she connected with some people who are a very large family. And this person is the son of one of my mother's best friends. And I won't use his government name, but if you're from Vegas and you're in the music scene and you know that the person I'm talking about is Smoke Loke. Okay, that's my cousin. Exciting. So let me tell you about growing up with him as my cousin. So first things first, there's kind of like a weird generational gap uh, in my extended family. Okay, there's three of us who are about the same age. There's him, and then there's like the other cousins who are younger than him, right? So kind of put it in perspective, you look at three cousins who are like 12, he's like 9, and like the other cousins are like 6, right? So where do you think he's going to gravitate to? Not to the 6-year olds, but to the 12-year olds. And that was kind of how it went, right? And we treated him like one of us. We hung with him like one of us. And life has its way of giving you those curveballs, especially when you're a child and you don't control your destiny. Things happened. My mother got married. We moved to LA, and I kind of lost contact with my cousin. Right. So years later, I think I was like maybe 18, getting ready to graduate from high school, right? Or I had graduated from high school, joined the military. I moved back home, or what I called home, which was Vegas, while I was doing my delayed entry time because I joined in May and I wasn't going to go to the military until December. So I moved back home. And of course, me and my cousin, we reconnect and we're hanging out, but it's like a different dynamic, right? Because when we were 9 years old, when he was 9 years old and I was like 12, I stood taller than him. Right, I was taller than him. He was my little cousin. I'm gonna let nothing bad happen to him. I was gonna take care of him. But now I moved back home, and I mean, if you know me, I'm 5'8". And my cousin's like 6'3", 6'4", like towering over me. But he still had that love for me as the big cuzzo, let's do this, let's do that because of what you think. And I had really got into to writing lyrics for rap music, and he was starting to get into it, and he wanted my advice on it. And I was like, listen, man, do this, do that, do this, do that. Not really thinking much of it. Okay. So long story short, I leave and I go to the military. And here's the bad part on me. When I joined the military at like 18 years old, I left Vegas, and realistically, I didn't come back for like 20 years. So 18, I leave. 38, 39, I kind of come back. And I'd gone through some turmoil in my life, and things I was going through. And my wife now, decided that, maybe we should go out there and visit, especially because her job had a convention there. So we were going to go visit. So I was like, you know what? Let me look up all of my people and my family out there, even my extended family, and just say what's up. Maybe I can see them while I'm home because I've been home in, 20 years. So I look up some family. We go out, we spend time, we hang out, everything's cool. A couple years later, I'm going through some other traumatic stuff in my career, really, really down point. And it's getting close to my birthday, which is January the 2nd. So it's right after Christmas. And my wife says, hey, how about we go to Vegas? I said, okay. So I reach out to my people. I reach out to my cousin, my play cousin, who we talked about earlier. And his reaction to me on Facebook was like, yeah, man, I want to see you. I want to hang out. Let's do this, let's do that. I'm like, okay, cool. Everybody kind of responds like that. But I get to town and I don't see him. It is what it is. But I get to town. I'm there for like a day or so. And I reach out, and that energy is still there. So I'm like, let's go visit him at his house. Let's go chill out. I go to my cousin's house, right? And the energy is there. The energy of when we were kids, and everything was right between us, and we played and we did dumb shit like take the pillows off the couch and run and jump over them in the basement, right? All of that energy was there, and for a long time I had kind of gotten used to not having that familial connection with family, right? Blood family, right? I mean, my mother, sisters, kids, or whatever. And then I walk in and I feel that connection with him, right? And he's like, yeah, here's this kind of weird thing, right? I got to kind of divert from the subject, right? So when we were kids, our parents used to all get together at his mother's house, and they would play cards. They would do what adults did in the 70s and 80s, right? And we would hang out and play as kids. Like I said, jumping over the couch cushions, doing whatever we could in the basement of his mama's house. And that energy of the family and everybody getting together had transitioned from his mother to him. And now his house is where all of the families got together, right? All of the family got together. Like, I mean, aunts, uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters, everybody got together at his house on Sundays, like they got together at his mother's house. And I just so happened to land in Las Vegas coming up on a weekend where everybody was going to be there. And he and I had talked. He knew I was coming through. I was going to come through, for that Sunday. And he told the whole family that I was going to be there. So people who hadn't necessarily showed up, all the time were there. And the love I felt from my extended family, right? That we missed you, and when you moved to LA, we were so upset because you was gone and you never came back and you never talked and we never knew how to get in contact with you. Man, that was another level. It was another level. It was a level where I was like, these is my people. How did I ever do them so dirty by not reaching out and like coming home every other year for vacations and everything else, these people reminded me of my roots and who I was supposed to be and where I was supposed to be in life. And I owe all that to my cousin. Now, the reason why I'm sorry, I'm dedicating this whole cast to my cousin is because over the course of that next week, I watched who he grew into as a man. Right now, he's not a perfect person. He wasn't a perfect person, right? He had his faults. Okay, but here are the things I looked at from my younger cousin, right, who was my baby cousin, uh, who had things to teach me as a man. My cousin had become the rock of the family. His house was where everybody went to for Sunday dinner. He was the one everybody went to for advice and help, older, younger. We're talking aunts, uncles, cousins, you know, grandbabies, everything goes to him for the advice. And he had always been there for them and taking care of them. As a matter of fact, his sister was living with him because she was trying to figure out, her things in life. And he was like, come live at the house, do your thing, figure it out. I'm good to go. Taking care of his mother and her mortgage and figuring out, what to do with her house, the house that we had played in as children and grew up in. He's taking care of that. And I looked at my cousin and I was like, damn, that's a grown ass man right there I'm dealing with. Maybe even a better grown ass man than me because his relationship with his children was better than my relationship with my children. Right. And that's my cousin. And since then, and here's another weird layer that I've discovered about my cousin. He's a person that I can say, hey, I'm going through some shit. Um, we'll talk later. And 2 days later, he's like, hey, man, I got a plane ticket. I'm coming out to see you. Let's just chill and make sure everything's okay. That's grown man shit right there. I don't even know if I can do that for everybody in my life, but my cousin can do it for me. And he puts a smile on my face. I can sit with him and just have a beer or have a drink and talk for hours and learn and understand things about the world that I didn't get before. And I'm 46 years old and he's younger than me. I respect that. Another thing in him is he has a level of hustle most people just don't understand. He's got a great job. I know he's making more than six figures a year. He's got a beautiful house. He could relax on that. But he is always looking for an opportunity to invest and make more money and do something bigger in his life. I mean, he took on this side hustle of like washing and detailing cars. And I watch him on Facebook and I'm like, cuz I ain't got the energy to wash that many cars on the weekend. But he'll do it. I wonder if people pulling up to get their car washed and detailed realize that the dude that's washing and detailing their car probably makes twice as much as they make a year. But that's my cousin. He's got that kind of hustle and that drive in him. And I love him for that. And I made this whole video to just say, baby boy, you inspire me. You inspire me to step up to the next level and do better. And the crazy thing about our conversations, we will have conversations and he will look at my life and say, you inspire me to do better. I want to get where you are. And it's not a competition thing, it's both of us making each other better. The most important thing about my relationship with my cousin is if I am going through some shit, I am upset and I'm trying to figure out how to navigate this world as a man of a certain age, I can call him and we can talk about it. And his answers or his solutions make sense. And when he's going through something that he doesn't understand, He can call me and say, "Hey, man, I don't know what to do," and my answers make sense to him. It's like an amazing feeling to have that person that you connect with on that level. And that's why I wanted to do a video, right, or do a show, a YouTube that really talks about my relationship with my, I guess you call it play cousin, but that's my real cousin. That's my family. That's my blood. I would do anything for. Okay, and to shout him out. If I can, I'm gonna make a link in a video. I'm still trying to figure out how to do it. I'm gonna make a link in a video or maybe in the comments so y'all can check out his music because I think his music is the dopest thing ever. 100% respect and love. I buy his albums, not because he's my cousin, but because I love his music. Right, I think he has the ultimate West Coast '90s vibe, and that's what you need to hear in music. We're gonna talk about some of my other family that's doing music at some point on this show. Maybe even I'll bring them in because I mean they're more famous than me on the internet, so I got to kind of talk them into it, But I just wanted to give a lot of love and a shout out to my cousin Smoke Load. And if you're from Vegas and you know him and you one of the people in his circle, everything I said was 100%. Everything I had to say about him was actually who he is, how he gets down, and how he does things. And your life and my life are so much better for having someone like that in our life. Respect. I'm gonna go ahead and end this the way I always end my real talks with I'm just saying, fuck out of here. Holla at your boy.